Now we're here with Dan Neugroschl of Chiral Photonics, Mr. President. It is very nice to meet you.
Likewise.
So we were just at the OIF interoperability demo looking at multi-core fiber live in real time, transmitting over 4 cores. I understand from chatting with you outside this booth that this isn't multi-core fibers like beginning, that
Right.
there actually is a long history of collaboration between our companies with multi-core fiber. Can you tell our audience about that?
Sure. So we've been working with Sumitomo and multicore fiber for over a decade now, um, and like many products and fiber itself in telecom, things started in the sea. So going intercontinental is where fiber optics started, and then it migrated to terrestrial applications and the fiber optic network that we see all around us on our streets. And multicore fiber is taking a similar route. So because the pipes are more finite, you can't put submarine cables wherever you want. They cost a lot of money, so you run a finite amount of them across the sea. um, that's where the bandwidth gets used up quickest. So you don't have enough bandwidth across the seas. You have to continue to, and the ships can only be so big to put uh, to accommodate the diameter of the cable that you're running across the seas. So you have to cram more and more into smaller and smaller spaces. So that's where multi-core fiber comes in submarine applications. Um, as the technology gets proven, there are many interesting use cases um, in telecom on land, outside of telecom also. So there's a lot of congestion going on with fiber in many different scenarios between buildings in congested cities, and it's more economical to put in multi-core fiber rather than ripping up expensive streets if you have a limited space. So that's the project. That's the projection of where things are going and how they migrate kind of from submarine to terrestrial applications. But we work with Sumitomo in a lot of ways. Not only that they produce an excellent fiber that's really been the the key fiber being used now in submarine applications, and we make the the fan outs, which allow you to terminate and connect to the rest of the big world of fiber optics outside. So that's where the interplay comes in.
That's always the question that comes up when people hear about multi-core fibers is, well, wait a minute. So 4 paths down a single fiber, that's amazing, but how do you terminate it?
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about the termination?
Sure. So um, really that's where our small components come into this picture of the ecosystem. And because we've been involved in that aspect of the business for this long, and also we're a small company that doesn't have as many businesses as Sumitomo, so we're very, very vested. So in some ways, we're the tail that wags the dog, that we have this small component that is very needed in this space because you have no way of connecting from these high density cores to the single cores that are really out there in the real world. So we deal with applications from telecom to biomedical, where multi-core fiber also plays a role, and in many different niche applications. But the question about termination is really very application specific.
Right.
So, and it's evolving. It's an evolving story. Right now, people use fan outs, and we work with fiber from 2 core to 4 core to 7 core. So all of the progression of fibers that people see, even for some R&D applications, people have used fibers that have over 20 cores.
Oh.
So hopefully that's a kind of a harbinger of where things are moving. But in terms of termination, so you have kind of the basics is fibers, fiber fanouts. So we make these fiber-based fanouts, which keep the losses in the system very low and give you a all-glass termination to regular single-core fibers. And these can be spliced for the lowest losses possible, which is important for many applications. Many applications don't care as much, and they want a pluggable solution.
Right.
So we've introduced here at the show, for instance, a pluggable fan out. So one side can be spliced to an MCF, to a multi-core fiber, and the other side can be plugged into a regular MTP connector and used like people use MTP connectors everywhere more and more in the network. So there are other applications where people have to think about multiple multi-core fibers. So if you're trying to reduce the size of your cables, you're often dealing with cables that can have hundreds or even thousands of fibers. So the advantage of multi-core fibers is that one of the advantages is that it makes the cable more flexible because it reduces the diameter.
Right.
And it makes it less weighty, which is important when you're dealing with many, many cables.
Taking up less space.
Exactly. And some of the advantage is that you have to do less splicing. So, for instance, if you're speaking about a four-core application, you're doing 4 times less splicing per fiber per channel than you would usually use. So, in addition to that, people are looking for ways to reduce the labor that goes into these big installations. So, one way is use multi-core fibers, so you do less splicing. One way is to eliminate the splicing as much as possible. So you can, if you have pluggable solutions, and these are things. So we have spliceable cable solutions and pluggable cable solutions, not just individual fiber solutions. So these are things that that we're showing here at OFC and that we're working together with Sumitomo on. And so it's a great collaboration, I think. And it's also helping, especially when it comes to us, like I said, that we're very vested in the growth of the multi-core fiber ecosystem.
Right.
So we work with not only fiber manufacturers, but also equipment manufacturers like splicers, like Sumitomo. And we're extremely interested in their innovative posture in all of these industries, not only in splicers, also connectors. But we're also vested in the sense that we try to bring the different players of this ecosystem together.
Right.
So to show to the market that it's really there.
And it
It's
all
not-
needs to work together.
Right, right. And it's a little more real than some of the other fiber technologies that people are working on, which aren't quite as advanced. This is going to this in the sea now as we speak. And the subsea applications are a lot more unforgiving than the terrestrial applications. Harder to change something when it's sitting at the bottom
This
of the
is
ocean.
a proven technology
Exactly.
that is finding new applications.
Exactly.
Right. Oh, well, we appreciate your collaboration so much and the time you've spent here in our booth today, and good luck with the rest of the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.